So now I'm going to read the text for the Merci Train. I read the questions in the other YouTube post. Now I'm going to read the text. Always start with the directions in the title. They can give you useful information. Directions. Read this article about a train from France. So I know from this it's not a story, it's an article. This is non-fiction. Then answer questions 1 through 5. And I'm saying read the questions before you read this. The questions are in the other YouTube post. The Merci Train, or merci. Merci is a French word meaning thank you. Here's the French flag and the US flag. So merci is a French word meaning thank you. So perhaps this is the Thank You Train by Rita J. Markle. On February 3rd, 1949, New York Harbor was an exciting place to be. Airplanes flew overhead, whistles blew and bells sounded. Small boats circled in the water. Crowds cheered from the docks. They were there to greet a ship that carried a very special cargo. On board were 49 railroad boxcars filled with gifts from the people of France to the people of America. There was one boxcar for each of the existing 48 states. Ooh, this would be a great place for a marginal note. In 1949, there were only 48 states. And one to be shared by the District of Columbia and the territory of Hawaii. So this happened before Hawaii became a state. You could put that as a marginal note over here. These boxcars became known as the Merci Train, or Merci Train. Following the end of World War II, from 1939 to 1945, so that means after the year 1945, France was almost in ruin. Factories, roads, bridges, and farms had been destroyed by bombings. Many French people were without jobs or money. They had little to wear and little to eat. Third paragraph. Whoa. In the winter of 1947, Americans set out to help. A train was sent across the United States, stopping in cities and towns along the way. At every stop, people gave whatever they could. Factories gave goods, clothing, and medicines. Grocers and farmers gave food. Families gave money. Even school children donated their pennies. The train's contents were then shipped to France. By 1949, 2 years later, the French had begun to recover from the war's destruction. The Merci Train was their way of saying thank you to America for the help they had needed so badly. French citizens had filled the boxcars with gifts. They sent tapestries, china, statues, even Napoleon's sword. But most of the gifts were personal, like handmade dolls, toys, children's drawings, postcards, scrapbooks, and even wedding dresses. In short, the people sent the things they treasured most that had not been lost in the war. But the boxcars themselves were perhaps the most meaningful of the gifts. On each, the French people had painted the coats of arms of all their 40 provinces. They added red, white, and blue stripes, the colors of both the French and American flags. Each car had an American eagle painted on its front. These boxcars, which had once been used to move troops into battle, would never again be used for war. Page 3, top of the page. From New York, the boxcars were delivered by rail to each state. Both children and adults waited eagerly for the Merci Train to arrive. Everyone wondered what their state's boxcar would contain. When the boxcars arrived and the contents displayed, there were celebrations everywhere. Speeches were given, parades were held, and the news of the event was broadcast on the radio and reported in newspapers. A number of the states kept their wonderful boxcars. Some have been carefully maintained or restored and can still be visited. Gifts sent by the French people can still be seen at certain state museums and historical societies. The Merci Train came out of the ruins of war, but it is a reminder that nations can also work together in peace and goodwill. Make sure you answer the questions and have marginal notes.